So you're gonna bring me back a picture of a whale or?
Oh yeah, Graham, oh my god, I can't
It's
think of
okay.
it. So I'm
Probably
gonna
not.
They really
Looking like
want
it's
that
gonna be
property,
kinda
but not
chilly.
without water.
You know what you really ought to be doing
What should I be really
Oh,
doing?
yeah.
is taking a charter out and going tuna fishing.
I don't even like tuna fish.
Well,
For how much?
you take and go back
Yeah.
to the
I just
dock,
saw
and
3
if
acres
you
sold.
have caught a significant tuna,
Is he in Central?
there are gentlemen from the Isle of Japan there, and they'll go over and they'll take a core,
So you really like
and
the
they'll
property.
will offer you
Those
money
guys
for
goes
that
across the
tuna.
street.
Really?
Not the best.
They're in,
houses,
Cape
but
of
they
God?
would set that
Yeah.
up like
Wow.
we do.
One guy that
To me, I
used to
went
work
some
with,
years.
he went up there and they bought his tuna for $21,000.
Wow, that might be worth tuna fishing for. I paid for my vacation.
Yeah.
That's why I buy one can at a time.
But yeah, they take it and they literally fly it back to Japan for sushi.
You know, as soon as you start this, Cassie just
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're
we're
really
only
gonna
gonna
really
really
be
be
there
there
sell
one
them,
day.
do get water and I'm gonna sell.
Just tell her. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I never knew that, but the guy I worked with, he was telling me, he and his wife had gone up there,
But I
and
went to
she
the
went,
board meeting.
I don't know, wherever it was. Then he decided to go fishing, so he went out in his
That's the
boat,
one.
and he caught this tuna that was
You'll get assessed.
742 pounds or something, whatever the number was. But,
Yeah.
yeah, they come in and they take just like you take a core sample,
Right.
okay? And they go ahead and I don't know whether they smell it, taste it, whatever they do.
Yeah, they would build a nice.
And then
probably a barn.
they come back and they make an offer.
Sure.
So.
Sure. It's fine. I'm not gonna get all worked up about it. I just said I would do the best I can. I went and spoke with the town board, you wrote, I just know they're desperate. Like right now, they need to find a place for rent and they can't. They got 5 kids. Cause the place owner was an Airbnb and they make more money renting weekly. Cause their
Oh,
house.
stay with
burned
you,
down.
you got a big
Wow.
house.
And they wanna stay in.
Get a little whistle
I don't
down
think it
here.
really matters where they are right
Where's
now.
Mr.
How
Sparino
many
tonight?
bedrooms?
Well, they got 5 kids.
Supposed to be here, I thought.
Probably at least
4.
4 bedrooms.
So they're in a nice Airbnb, but the owner already had it all rented for the summer weeks.
We'll get started without him. Okay, we'll get started. We'll call, to order the, April 30th, ARPA workshop. Roll call.
Councilmember Crucio,
Here.
Councilmember Crosby here, Councilmember Sparino absent, Councilmember Wilbur,
Here.
Supervisor Barney.
Here. Still pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so, we got some other business to take care of tonight, other than just the ARPA funds. I wanna jump ahead, we got a person here tonight, that wants to give a quick presentation, about our, cyber security, policy. You wanna go ahead and, okay, go ahead. If you wanna come up, you can.
I was gonna say, it's easier, cause I've got some documents
Yeah,
here.
We got the podium here, you can use it, so.
I'm Chris Juliana. I think you all got an email from me the other day, with the quote for the cyber liability. There were some changes in the program this year. NYMER changed their underwriting guidelines, and you guys were just a little bit short of their minimum requirements, so they were not willing to offer a quote this year. It's not an end of the world situation at all, because we typically write our cyber liability or cybersecurity policies with, cyber liability programs, so that they just handle cyber liability. So we were able to get a quote, last Friday. I sent it around, with a carrier, CFC Insurance. It is a program, again, specifically for cyber liability. I've got a lot of my municipalities and all of my school districts that I handle are with CFC. It's a superior product. It's one of the best in the industry. They have very broad coverages with regards to, the first party coverages, which I'm not going into too much detail and putting you guys all to sleep. First party is gonna be financial loss to you. So business interruption, loss to your computers, loss to your data. The first party claim is a claim that you're gonna put in what's a financial loss to you. Third party claim is a financial loss for somebody else, and they sue you for third party damages. Okay? So the first party claims that are listed in the quote that I provided, have a $1 million liability limit, that are for each and every claim, which no other carrier in the industry is doing this. Most policies have an aggregate, and once the aggregate is met, the policy stops paying. But this refreshes with every claim. So if there was a first party claim and it was, say it was $100,000 claim, on any other policy, your current limit would go from $1 million to $900,000, which would all that would be available. In this, once that $100,000 claim is closed, your limit refreshes back to $1 million. And there's no limit on that. So those are first party claims. Third party claims, which if somebody sues you for damages, that does have a $1 million aggregate. So that is not open to each and every, that's gonna be a maximum policy payout of $1 million. But the first party claims are the ones that we're seeing. Those are the ones where you have damage to your computer systems, you have damage to your data, and somebody hacks in and locks things up, tries to hold it hostage. There's all sorts of claims, there are all sorts of malicious code that's going around right now. And that's one of the reasons why NYMER, who isn't a cyber insurance carrier, they do municipalities. But if they're willing to do the cyber, only if you hit that certain minimum requirement for your security protections on your system, which you weren't able to meet at this time. So you guys will get there. I know there was the quote from the IT people, and there are things that have to be done. But I'll be honest with you, CFC is gonna be a better product anyway. They do things like they constantly scan the dark web. You'll see in the requirements, they do require you to download their mobile app, and it's communication back and forth with their IT people. So if you think you've been breached, if you think there's a hack, if something happens to your computer system, you would reach out to them and they can dial into your system. They have the team of people that can come out and do the forensic studies to see what data was breached, if any. And they have coverages on here that will fix your computer systems. There's actually coverage on here for hardware, because most property policies have excluded anything damaged by malicious code or computer virus. So your policy with NYMER was only $250,000 limit for liability. This is $1 million for the primary liability. There are some sublimits on here, but those are broadened coverages that you didn't have before. And the premium last year with NYMER was $2,153 for just the cyber. and this is $1,777 for more coverage.
Better
So,
product for less money.
It's kind of a, yeah, kind of a no-brainer. The only reason I jutted out here at 7 o'clock tonight was because the policy expired on the 22nd. And we need to get this bound with CFC because we don't wanna leave you guys bare and have something happen before we could get coverage in place. So I've spoken to my underwriters and they know that I'm out here tonight. So if I go back tomorrow and I say, hey, they're gonna do this, we can backdate the coverage to the 22nd, so there's no lapse in coverage.
Good.
I just didn't want you sitting open and bare with no coverage for 2 weeks. So, if that makes any sense.
So is 1 million the only coverage limit, or is there,
It's
higher.
3 pages of coverages, so yeah, it's very extensive policy. There is some crime coverage in here, so there's the crime coverage is limited, it's a lower sub-limit, we've got fund transfer fraud, 250,000, and that's each and every claim. Again, it's gonna reinstate the limit, if there's a paid claim, there's not gonna be an aggregate attached to that. So there are some sub-limits on here. I do recommend looking through the proposal. I could go through all of the coverages, but I think you guys have other business to attend to tonight, so I was kind of doing a little bit of an abbreviated, proposal.
So what you just said, the fund transfer fraud, how could a town, this is one of my, thoughts earlier after you and I spoke today. How could a town suffer that when we have a double verification, and she signs a check, I sign a check, she's our town clerk. We have a double signature. That's one of the things I wanna know is there any way that large sums of money could be, the money's in the bank,
Well, this is computer fraud.
right,
So this
computer
would be,
fraud.
so a lot of times what happens, just so you know, I mean, I'm not really all up to date on all the cyber crime that's out there. You can have malicious code on your computer and not even know it. For
Right.
months, they sit there and watch you type everything in,
Mhm.
passwords, codes, they know who you are, they know what your position is, they know who Jen is, they know what her position is. They can duplicate your email address so that it looks like something's coming from you. Hey Jen, do this for me. And yeah, there have to be those checks and balances in place so that there isn't a claim. But,
Gotcha.
I mean, you could do everything right, Dan, and it doesn't matter. Somebody can still get through. They can still be watching you, and it's kind of creepy to kind of say that, but it really is true. They could be on your computer, the malicious code could be on there, looking at your keystrokes, looking at your bank accounts. They know how much money you've got, and it's scary.
Well, another concern, like on her, desktop down there, she's got vital records,
Hell
you
yeah,
know. I mean,
it's a big deal.
Yeah, there's,
It's a big deal, yeah. If somebody, and malicious codes come in a lot of different forms.
Right.
It can come via an email, it can, I don't know if you guys are allowed to do personal things on your desktop computers, but somebody goes in and checks Facebook and somebody sends a messenger notification saying, hey, is this you in the video? You click the video, boom, malicious code. Emails, websites that you normally go to can have code on them. So people, they plant the links and the codes so that people who are even aware of it, I get them. I get them on my phone. You guys get them on your phone? Hey, your Amazon package is set to be delivered. Please click this link and verify your credentials.
I don't think we have anybody here that does any personal stuff on
Hopefully
their
not.
town device.
Yeah,
But
hopefully not.
if we don't, maybe we should look at that. Is it
You
policy?
should definitely
Like
have a
private
computer
policy?
use policy, and I think that if you've got access to the Nymer University, they have policies and procedures. Jen, you've got that, right? Nymer University, they have policies and procedure templates. So there's a computer use policy out there that does say you shouldn't use your computer, your work computer for personal use.
So
now,
this is in
how
the,
strong is your AI group? Okay, in other words, okay, there's a lot of artificial intelligence now. It will copy, for instance, your voice print,
Yep,
okay?
it's
And
scary. There's a lot of stuff going
If you
on.
use your voice print as entrance to your bank account or any other account, it can duplicate your voice.
I
so
don't
that
I
it-
don't know how how much the insurance industry is caught up to the biometrics. The biometrics is new.
Yep.
The face recognition, the retina reading, all of that stuff is kind of a new thing. I know that just about all of our liability policies, our standard liability policies, exclude anything that has anything to do with any kind of biometrics or any, and I would assume that AI, my voice print, I think that would all fall under that same idea, but it's a good way for the criminals to start, to steal things. Yeah, you could get a phone call, hey Jen, it's Dan, and it's not really Dan. You know what I mean? It's saying, hey, I just went to the bank and we're gonna use this account number, routing number, account number to wire transfer that money. There should be policies and procedures in place that if you get any kind of a redirection for any kind of a wire transfer, that you double check it, triple check it.
So what about if a wire transfer that's going, it's our money, but it's actually down at the bank, right, and it's being transferred to say a bond payment? Does the policy cover something like that, or is that the bank's liability?
So there has to be, if there's fraudulent, yeah, so there was a municipality, they were, again, malicious code sits on your computer, they were doing business with a construction company for capital improvements. And they got an email from the contractor saying, please forward the final payment. They knew how much the payment was, and please forward it to this account number.
Right, I know.
And if there's a problem, call this number. And the person called that number and realized quickly that it was not where it was supposed to be. And that because the check had already been mailed, and she was panicking because the check had already been mailed, she's like, I'm not wiring any money, I mailed the check. And it was a fraudulent payment. A lot of times those claims aren't covered if you willingly give your money to somebody else. But in the cyber policies, there are coverages for that type of fraudulent wire transfer.
And I see most of your deductibles are 2,500, is that
Yeah,
right?
the deductibles on this policy are 2,500. But I do want you to be very aware of the fact that the initial, incident response cost is zero deductible. So if you think you have a claim, the initial incident response where you call the insurance company and you say, we think we had a breach, there's no deductible for those expenses. Once it's determined that there is a claim and you get into some of the legal and regulatory costs or any of the forensic and security costs, those will have a deductible.
Okay.
But your initial, yikes, I think we have a claim, call to the carrier, there's no deductible for that. They're gonna pick up the deductible if there is a claim on one of the other lines.
You mentioned biometrics, okay, is that the only entity that you're dealing with? Because biometrics normally covers, body parts.
Yep, again, with the voice print, the whole AI thing is very new. I'm not really sure how that's being handled. I'm sure on the regular property and casualty side, we'll be seeing exclusions. I can look at, corporate identity theft, extortion, I mean, there's all sorts of coverages in here. I do not know. That is a question I can't answer for AI. I don't know. It would depend on the claim. It's not necessarily the taking of the voice, it's what they do with the voice. So there would have to be something that triggered a claim, like if they use the money to transfer funds, or use the voice to transfer funds, that would be one thing.
Yeah, and normally you would have to set that up a bit in advance. In other words, okay, if we were going to pay someone like that, okay, we would have to set up that an authorized voice print was either Dan or Jen, for the sake of argument, okay? But I don't think we're into that at this point in the game.
I was gonna say AI is so new, I doubt there's anything written in here about
No,
it,
it's
you know.
very new, it's very new, and we don't really know what they're gonna do with it yet, and that's the problem. the industry is typically reactive. Because that's just the nature of the game, you know, it's like, kinda like law enforcement, you're reactive, you don't know what the criminals are gonna do until they do it.
So your proposal here for costs, this document, cause this is a lot of titles, actually defines each one of the
Yes,
ones listed.
yeah, you printed it, nice.
I didn't, it was here when I
It
got
was
here,
there.
thank
Oh,
you, whoever
nice.
printed it.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, because when you look at the proposal, you know, corporate identity theft, I'm like, well, I wanna know what that looks like, I'm gonna go here and it
Yeah,
explains
the
what it
the
is.
definitions are definitely
Okay.
in there. It's a great policy. And I think if you guys are going to replace the NYMER policy and not go bare, cause those are your only options at this point, is not have any coverage. Or
We're not
this
gonna do
coverage.
Yeah, we don't have to do that.
Can we have both?
I'm sorry,
Can we have both?
nothing and something? You
No.
want your no, you still
Both
have
nine
NYMER,
there and yours.
you still have NYMER for everything else.
Not
NYMER's
for
still,
this.
just not for the cyber
Right.
liability.
NYMER doesn't have anything equal to this, is what you're saying.
Well, their coverage is not equal to this. Even if they had offered you a quote, I would have come in with this as an option because this is better. And I'm finding that NYMER's pricing is going up. You look at your $250,000 in coverage for $2,000, $2,100. This is $1 million and it's better and it's less. So I'm finding that their pricing is going up and their coverages don't match this. So I've been trying to get this in front of as many clients as I can, but we were waiting on NYMER because it's hard to compare something to nothing, but then they pulled the quote when the recommendations weren't complete.
So there's a 1 million, is there a 2 million?
How high do you wanna go? I will say that, but I chuckle. I struggled a couple of years ago with one of my larger accounts to get him a 5 million limit. And so, yes, there is a 2 million limit, but I didn't get a quote for it.
Okay.
What would be normal for this size, I mean, we're a small town.
I mean, $1
should be
million
fine.
is typically what I see in most of my municipalities. My school district's another story. They usually carry higher limits.
Well, they would have to have
But
more,
they
they've
have
been
much-
under major attack.
They've been under major attack, but they have so much more sensitive information.
Sure,
With,
student
the
records.
student records and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay,
I was looking at our typical, budget for both highway and, the town itself, okay? And that's why I question whether if there's something more than $1 million.
Well, it's $1 million per incident.
Should be plenty of
So-
coverage.
It's a each and every claim on the first
Right.
party claims.
Right.
Anything that's gonna be a financial loss to the town in this, if you look at the proposal that I gave you, it's got fraud transfer fund, each
Yeah,
and every
that's it.
claim, theft of funds in escrow, each and every claim. So these are your first party financial loss claims, are each and every claim.
Does this, insurance company, do they do any kind of trainings? So that
Yeah, so
So
that's
that-
this.
okay,
So when you get into the, you have to download their mobile app, when you download their mobile app, you control the training,
okay.
you can choose, I gotta see where the little thing
It would
is.
probably be good to have training for everyone.
So it's on the second page, so it's 24/7 access to cybersecurity experts. You can report an incident through the application, and then the cybersecurity tools, like the dark web monitoring, phishing simulations, and deep scanning are
Phishing.
free.
Yeah,
And the phishing simulations, if you click on the button when you download the app, you click on the button to activate that. You can go in and you can add email addresses and you can do the phishing simulations through the app, directly.
We have a new TV too, which we're doing here.
yay, finally.
There you go.
Awesome.
Where do you go? Okay, we good, or
Yeah.
any more
Yeah.
questions?
No, I think it's good, but I think training might be
It's,
a good idea for
I think it's
everyone.
better than what we had, I think it's
I do the
great.
phishing training, and I think sometimes they still get it. They do a really, those criminals,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Cause they're smarter than us.
I mean, if they put their efforts towards something good, imagine how good our world would be.
Exactly,
That's how I feel. I
yep,
mean, especially the technology,
Because
there's
they're
probably
smart.
leaps and bounds,
sure,
in technology if they focused on the
Sure.
good.
No, I'm
Anybody? And now, the only thing I asked, now, are you guys gonna vote tonight?
We can,
Yeah, and then if you decide to do it, I can get back to my, underwriter if first thing in the morning and tell her to back.
so was the
these
one
numbers.
here that I had, was this for me to sign if we
You
voted it?
can, I did bring another copy if you wanna keep that for yourself.
It doesn't matter, whatever's easy.
So I would need the application signed, which I also printed out in case you didn't.
can we also know what our shortcomings were, why we didn't get the NYMER policy?
So Jen has that email, actually,
Okay.
that email did go to everybody.
Okay,
Yep. It did go to everybody
It's
and there
just
were
a lot.
quotes in there.
oh, it is a lot,
There was a lot to go through.
It's also because of an increase in claims.
Countrywide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Everywhere.
it's
Oh.
really bad.
oh,
And the cyber criminals are focusing on, the smaller municipalities because
Sure,
they don't have
easier.
the checks and balances, they don't have the
Sure.
cybersecurity.
Sure.
It's kinda like easy money for them.
sure,
You know, they got people out there buying gift cards and scratching the codes
Hmm.
to get their data back.
Dan, when you sent me that email that
Yeah,
time?
yeah, yep.
And he didn't? And it
Yeah,
was
that's
so
Oh, that,
exactly.
oh, that,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
it
I
was
remember
some,
that.
credit card or some gift
Yeah.
card.
And it was,
Gift cards.
and it was my
Yes.
exact email address.
Yeah.
It wasn't like one letter or number was
No,
changed.
It's,
It was, yeah,
they say another good thing to do if you're not really sure is either hover, or if you hit reply, you just read the, if you can get the email address, it's always gonna be different than what it looks like.
I just called him.
Yeah.
What is
Yes,
this?
yeah,
I
exactly.
remember that.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
want to buy
it's-
gift cards for you?
How weird is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
dead giveaway, I don't give out gift cards.
And certainly
So-
when that's
Mr.
me.
Scrooge here,
And he really didn't want the gift cards, he just wanted the code on the
Yeah,
back, yeah, just
exactly.
take a picture of the back,
Yeah.
scratch off
Yes,
the date,
that's
take a
exactly
picture of the
what it
back.
was, yeah.
That's what they
So-
do, it's crazy.
Do we want to, do a motion to, accept this? This is 1 year,
1 year.
1 year from today, or
Well,
till
we
the
take,
end of
I'm,
the,
I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna
What is
try and
the
make it
back
effective the 22nd. So it's
okay,
gonna backdate it to the 22nd, and it's gonna be concurrent with the rest of your insurance program.
gotcha.
And this will make
I'll make that motion.
be happy.
You wanna make
with
that
us,
motion?
right?
I'll make that motion.
Well,
lots of
you know,
Okay, Fred.
It's not that they're not happy with you, it's
They want us to-
truly, they're not a cyber insurance company. And they have to be,
they have a higher standard to take less risk.
exactly. And the thing is if they didn't do that, then they
They'd be
jeopardize
like-
the
yeah.
entire program for all the municipalities that they insure. So they made this decision last year and the year before to take a harder stand, to make the applications longer, to make this, the criteria a little bit harder because they wanted to protect the municipalities. And my belief is, why do that when we can put you with a company that loves cyber, knows what they're doing, they have a staff of cyber people, and that's all they do. And that's where you should be for that type of
Sure.
coverage.
Okay, Fred wants to make a motion
I'll
to
second
accept
it.
this.
I'll second
I'll
it.
make a motion, okay, that we, execute this policy.
I'll second it.
Cyber liability policy.
Right.
Herschel,
Yes, sorry.
Prosser, Wilbur,
Aye.
Brian.
Aye. Okay, awesome, thanks for coming.
Yep, can you sign the, last page of the application? You wanna, yes, I'll fix mine over here.
I will.
And,
You're gonna need copies of this one? Or no?
you gave it to me, so I think you've got a copy of it, cause that's the application Jen sent me, and then this is the total cost one, sorry, I didn't give it all at once.
You want me to sign where you got the arrow here?
No, that's for the contact information.
Oh, the
On
initial up
very
here.
Yeah, initial, the $1 million limit,
Can you send me a copy of the sign
absolutely, yes,
so I can have it on file?
absolutely.
Okay.
You have to
I'm
sign
sure I'll
it.
get a hold of it on how to download the app.
Oh, yeah, you've got 30 days to do that anyway. They also they want written confirmation, Jen, that you've not experienced a cyber incident in the last 3 years, which created a financial impact of more than $10,000. So if you can, maybe on the email that I sent, if you can respond to that and just answer that question, and then I've got it documented, but you haven't had any claims, so I'll go ahead and bound, and then we'll just get them that information. Thanks, guys, I appreciate you allowing me to come in and walk the meeting. It was for a good cause.
It's sad we need that kind of thing.
It's really,
It's a
yes,
sad world.
it really is. But the technology is there, and like you were saying, the AI is gonna make it even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the things that they're predicting, and we're just not even gonna know what's real and what isn't anymore.
See, I'm not sure how it works, okay, on voice. I know that facial recognition, okay, they take up to 22 facial points. And for instance, Janice, okay, when it was used, at airports, it would pick out terrorists regardless of whether they grew a beard, okay,
Right.
put on a mustache, didn't make any difference. They pick them out from the nose that they picked off from their, original.
All I know is that when they examine the voice imprint on the AI, that they can tell that it's AI.
Yeah.
So there are telltale signs, it's just not evident when you're watching a newscast or seeing a video online. They have to really look at the voice print, and they can see you know, I don't remember what the word is, but it's not a normal speaking, tone.
Right.
So, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys
thanks
have
for
a
coming.
wonderful evening, thank you. Sorry to interrupt your meeting.
So,
Tracy,
what's that?
Tracy coming or no?
I thought,
No, she's not, Jen?
just,
That's why we made it for Tom.
so we'll get the, if we hadn't hit, what's that, Bob?
Mary dropped something.
Oh, thank you.
So if we hadn't had this meeting tonight, I would have had to have called a special emergency meeting, so we're gonna have to go into executive session at some point. Well, why don't we get the, ARPA stuff out of the way? Do we have, where are we at on the, generator? Did you get any?
I got a cut sheet, okay, from, Jake sent me one. And, it outlines, okay, the generator capability that they presented. Oops, down. You got too many files running around.
Oh, he's looking for that? Mary, did you wanna do the volley?
Oh,
You ready or no?
oh, you mean the multiplexing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can talk about that. Okay, so I signed the quotes for $2,000 is for the existing hard space to be expanded from 6T to 24T. Then for $1,100, the camera in here with a toggle switch will have volume and, video, but it's one switch as opposed to adding sound to a camera, and that can shut it off. I just made sure they knew to make sure Dan knows when they're coming, whether you want the camera here or on that pole, you know, to get the proper vision then for the camera in the hallway, they're not just gonna add, they're gonna take that camera out and put a camera in, it's $400 to have volume and sound, just the camera in the hallway. And then it's $1,600 to add everything to the internet, so, and that should be, those computers should be designated who's gonna be allowed to access that. I don't really know how that works, we should get educated on that, on whose computers are gonna be hooked to the internet. Is it through the server, you know, like in a server, you have certain walls where certain people can access?
Right.
I don't know how that works, I'm just,
I really don't want, well, my computer's not compatible with it already anyway, so I'd have to get an upgrade, but I don't, Joy brought up a good point of not having a hook to our computer system, so it can't go through and hit our server and access our confidential records. Have
Well,
it on
that's-
its own thing.
That's something
Yeah, we'll
that's
take care
talked
of all
about the
that.
multiplex about.
Yeah.
But you have to have internet so that you can get it to a computer to
Right.
download the video.
Right,
'Cause like-
which should be on its own computer.
Yeah, 'cause like,
Not attached to any of
we-
our own.
we have an old system at Victory and we had a thing that we had to download and it was a nightmare. We're trying to get a new system, but if you can, cause it's not hooked to anyone's computer, cause it's this old system that was there and it was a nightmare. So it just needs to be where certain computers can access it.
So we should be able to get the laptop that I just got from the Justice Court paired to it, right?
Sure,
I think, yeah.
sure.
That's-
Or
That's the
just-
one it should
If
be
it
on.
meets
Well-
the criteria, my computer doesn't, so.
Yeah, but we're gonna get you a new one, right?
Right, but well, I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
if I don't have that computer hooked to, the camera system hooked to, it, I don't need a new computer right now.
Whose
We could
computer-
we could talk
I
about
don't
that
really
more.
want it
We gotta
hooked
get
to
a new laptop
Yeah,
or whatever.
you're getting one in
Oh.
your office, right?
Well, I got it now, I got the
Yeah.
old one from the court,
Okay,
so
we're
we'll
good.
get, if it's compatible, we'll use that,
Yeah.
save money.
They'll
If not,
help
we'll-
us with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll
I
help
just
us
don't
with
think it
that.
should be.
They'll train you how to
Computer
download
that,
it and all that, it won't be hard.
If it's going through the internet and could get hacked into my,
Data records.
data records, I don't want it hooked to anything
They
to do
didn't
with my
say that.
computer.
We can talk to them about, I didn't hear that in the conversation I had.
That's what I'm concerned about.
We'll have to communicate with them and cover all the bases,
Yep.
make sure that that's something that can happen. Okay, good enough. So you got a grand total there?
Yes, 231, 35, 45, 51. Had to add in my head. 5,100,
5,100,
5,100.
so that's what's gonna be coming up.
So we already
To
voted to
six.
approve
We did.
6,000.
That's right, so it was
Okay.
$5,100.
We're good. I had Pups Locks come in and do some, service work also. As, most of you know, we changed out all of the locks in the, town hall, entrances, everything, highway, the justice court. They have their own key system now, so, we'll submit that bill under the, security upgrades as well.
How much was that?
I don't know yet, he just finished today, he's been working on it for a week, he didn't leave an invoice. I was hoping we'd have one for tonight,
We need a
So-
quote or anything to everything?
No, it was gonna be practically nothing, and then it turned out to be everything, cause of a little bit of a communication, I think, on his part with, what needed to be done, but it's not gonna be that much. I think the keys are only a couple bucks each or whatever. So we're good with that, right, Mary?
Yeah, I don't really know what your concern is, cause we have a lot of stuff on the internet, but I'll call
Right,
on the
yeah,
multiplex tomorrow.
The other thing I think we might wanna, assure ourselves is the security system that we have, okay, for our computer that comes from
Thank you.
our supplier.
Well, that was one of my thoughts. I kinda got into it a little bit with her earlier there as far as cybersecurity that was already provided through, like Computer Outlet North and iHeart, which I'm not up on all that stuff. But
There's
going with
also-
them, we got it covered now, totally.
Right, there's also, security available through, Spectrum, okay? And there's a lot of security out there that you can buy and add. Didn't say it was free. Spectrum's, I guess theirs, is a no charge type thing. At least that's what they advertise. I have two different security systems.
Well, computer outlet should be providing something, because
Right.
they're in charge.
But we
of
need to know what it is and how much horsepower it's really got.
I think
Are
that's,
you,
I think,
before I forget,
yeah.
are you busy Thursday at 11?
yes, on the Turning Stone for our conference. The Town Association of Towns Conference is
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm going to Turning Stone.
And afterwards, we're going to the craft
If you
table.
wanna change that meeting. I am not, I have a baseball game to go to with the grandson. I did wanna say this, back.
I have an appointment with Spectrum here at 11 o'clock.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to cancel it because I had
Okay.
a surgeon get moved,
your surgery.
move a meeting.
I
with-
do recommend though,
So-
back to all the concerns about security and that we really, once we download the apps on our phone to this, that we really look at the trainings. I really think before you decide whether you need to add security, whatever, we should really know what we have, we should really know what we need, and then figure out if we need to add anything. Cause I don't even know what we have, but those are things we should be responsible for.
Yeah, like I say, we need something, okay, that is strong. Okay.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at, what I just said there is, I don't wanna have something redundant, pay for something twice that's already being offered by
Yeah,
Computer Outlet North.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
yeah, we don't even know what we have, but we don't even really, I don't know that I know what we need.
cover our file server
Yeah.
for security, so.
Mhm.
Right.
Do they
But
bill
it's-
us for that, is that a?
But security on any of your electronic devices that go out on, the internet is very important. Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the generator.
Okay.
And, we're done with that, right? Talking
Yep.
about that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the generator, okay, that, had the most favorable pricing that we got from Roundel Electric is a Generac, okay, it also includes a automatic, transfer switch. Okay, and it's 32,000.
Somewhere around
Now, if we're going out for bid,
Got to.
we have to extract, from this, okay, certain parts and parcels, okay, how large it is, okay, you would state it as, okay, a minimum of.
I don't have my notes, but let me, help me, is it a bid or a quote?
No, it's a bid. It's got
It has to be a bid,
Yeah, gotta be advertised.
over 20,000?
Over 20,000.
I thought I had my notes.
The only way you could do it otherwise would be piecemeal it,
Well, we don't want.
and that's a crapshoot.
I wouldn't,
So do we want to, move to put this out for,
yeah, we need to go,
need to go, that's for sure.
we're running out of time.
Okay. Let's, put it out to bid and move forward with it.
I wouldn't use trade name, okay, because there's Generac, there's Kohler,
Right.
okay, there's several different, okay, what we have to talk about is how many amps,
Say
okay, the
Generac.
service entrance is, how much is this, how much is that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, who's doing that?
What's that?
Who's doing the specs? Who's doing the bid? How does that work?
My opinion is we should have an engineer doing it.
How much that
It's
gonna
gotta
cost?
be installed, right?
It's gotta be what?
It's gotta be installed. You want your price to be
Yeah,
installed.
sure.
fully
I'm just saying,
installed,
who
all
does-
necessary work.
Who does the bidding process? Who does the specs? How does that work here?
Well,
You've got basic requirements, right, as far
Right.
as output capacity.
Yeah.
I just wanna know who does it,
Yeah,
who writes it
and
up,
I don't know,
'cause
are you familiar enough where you could put together a list of the specs, or I don't know?
I can do it.
I would think that, probably a couple of us could, figure out how to do it.
are you saying you can do it,
I
Patty?
used to do it. That's what I
Okay,
did at
give it to
Bosti's.
Give it to Patty.
No, I can't do it in the next 5 days, cause I'm
Oh,
going away.
yeah, I know,
I'll be
you're
back
going
next
after
week.
tuna now.
Give it to Patty. Let her start it.
We can get it started. We've done bids before, right, Jen? We've got the bidding instructions
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I haven't personally done it, but.
Yep, I'll do it.
I'll help,
I got it.
'cause I don't mind running. Okay, give it to Patty.
Okay.
Are you worried about me?
Go Patty, go.
Yep, no problem.
Awesome.
I think once you get the specs, you just do up a legal
Yeah.
notice, saying
Yeah.
you're requesting
I
this.
think.
Yeah,
Here's
At
one,
such
here's
and such date,
here's
such and
specs.
such time,
What you're-
sealed.
you put out a bid packet, and you say, you know, we're advertising for this, you know, pick up the packet here.
And does that include the price to install it in there?
Yes, it will, it will say fully installed.
What you got?
Oh, install,
It will definitely say.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Gotta be.
We want an install price.
No, I know, but I don't think
The-
the price to
the
install
quote
it is
that
in
she
there.
The
Right.
30, well, whatever you just said is included, right, the installation,
I don't think so, I haven't looked.
right?
but don't get me lying to you.
No, when you got the price, did it include installation? Or are we talking?
Did it or
more?
not, Fred?
Or is that just the actual?
No, I just asked for, we asked for quotes for,
The
from
generator.
Shaver and Rumble, and that's what we got there, I don't know if it's,
But
the
you didn't ask if it
Includes
was to be
installation.
installed.
So we don't know if that included
No.
labor or not?
I don't know whether,
Well, you're not
I
gonna
don't even
put
have
the-
it anymore.
We'll put the
Frank,
bid up.
you
But
have
you're
it
not
there,
But you're not gonna put the prices for the installation anyways, you're gonna let them bid, your bid is going to include,
Include
including
installation.
installation, you're gonna
Absolutely.
get the bid.
Right, it's gonna be,
So you don't really need to know.
what do you have a quote in front of you?
no, I just have a spec sheet,
Oh, okay.
I believe, that's all you
Yep.
need, yep.
Well, that
It-
32,000 you just said, what did that include?
That's,
Where did the number come from?
that came from Rambo, but I don't have that sheet.
Yeah, you might wanna talk to Florimo, cause they've already
But I think
either
Bob
gone
had
out to
it.
bid for a generator, or they were getting to, and I think they already put their bids out, but they were looking at getting theirs out right away, cause they said it was gonna take 12 weeks
Okay.
just to get it back, that's not even
Why don't
the
we put a
installation.
phone call out to Brad Rambo tomorrow, and just ask him the process. I'm sure they have generators for
Yeah,
municipal buildings, schools, I'm
yeah,
sure.
I'll talk with Jake.
Find out what
Jake-
we have to
Jake
get
does
this
the
thing
business.
expedited.
Talk to Florimo, 'cause
Yeah,
I
no,
know,
I could
I was
find
at their
out.
meeting last month.
Okay,
I can email Grandma and see.
Yeah, they were working on it when I was at their meeting last month, Florimo.
See, one of the things was, okay, what Bob and I were talking, okay, was the one that came from our current, contractor, okay, he wanted to move, okay, the, inlet, okay, to the other end of the building. You know, he wanted
put the
to-
generator down there?
Do we have a generator at all now?
One for you, one for Patty.
I don't think it works, right?
Okay.
It doesn't work very well.
So. And see, the one we have
Okay.
now
This
is
is
on,
removal of
There's,
existing.
there's options 1 and 2,
That's a-
removal of existing,
Yeah, it is. yeah.
installation, okay, $25,540, okay, that.
Or that's option one,
That's
option
option
two
one.
is the next one. Now excludes.
Oh, that's a
mesh.
48 KW.
Well, what do we want?
So that's, the first one was a 20, that's why
Right.
you're looking at that
Which
price.
one, what size?
Or just a
Option one
little
is
bit
doing
more.
the garage alone,
Right.
option two is doing the whole building.
We want the whole building.
We want the whole building, we
So
want
that's
number
option
2.
two.
So this involves removal of the existing, installation of the new one, yeah.
Half of the
Okay.
stuff they got there you can use as your specs.
Right, yep.
Yep.
Excludes natural gas tie-ins. We don't want natural gas tie-ins?
no, that, you
That's what it
need
is.
somebody else to do that.
Okay. So we need to include that in the bid
Probably have
specs.
J&A or somebody come and
Yeah, I would.
do that, yeah, that needs to be included.
Yeah, and you
in
might have an approximate quote for installation now, but it's not gonna matter because it depends on the bids that you get. Yeah, they could say that, I mean, Romo could bid on it, but I'm just saying that you're gonna get what you get in a bid, it may not be what you're looking at right now.
What you do is you say or equal. You want it to equal the generator. But if that's what you want,
No,
that's what you ask.
That's not what I meant, I'm saying the price to install, we have an
Oh.
approximate price, but when the bids come in,
Oh, yeah. It
Yeah,
might not even be
that's
this.
not gonna matter,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Yeah,
it's just
okay.
when the bids
So,
come in.
okay,
Okay,
you're gonna
well,
take care of that?
Yeah. I'll
Okay,
put it
good
together.
enough. Let's,
I should have it all packet ready by the next board meeting.
Perfect.
Because do we have to do something before we go out to bid, right? Rebecca, do we have to have a motion to go out to bid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think you wanna have the bid,
The bid packet
so
ready.
everyone can look and
Okay,
make sure
that's
that
what I
it's
thought.
got.
So we'll get it, I'll get it
Oh,
ready.
that's your
for-
right.
Cause that's the 21st, right?
Did you write
I did,
that? Oh, okay.
yeah, I did. Cause we want that included, right? We want to include,
Right.
this says
And that might
excludes
be
it.
something that, if, as part of their bid package, that they have they work with someone else
Right.
to do that,
Right.
but you don't wanna like you said, you don't wanna
Right.
piecemeal.
We want a
Yes,
turnkey
yes.
operation when we're done.
It's just like if someone was installing a natural gas, heating system at your home, the guy that installs it, he can go ahead and he can, put the pipe in, but until, National Grid comes and blesses and kisses it, you can't start your system.
Right, but we want that price included.
Yeah.
So that when it's done, when he leaves the building, it's
It's
turnkey.
turnkey.
It's turnkey.
Okay, we're good to move on from the generator, right?
Yeah.
So what else we wanna deal with tonight? Gonna do
Well-
anything with the building tonight, or are we gonna,
Well,
I think we better.
let's decide at least what size we wanna go, right? I guess Bob will come, cause.
Yep.
And where we're gonna put it, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I think we're gonna be limited, we're gonna have to put it out in this front corner over here, the northeast corner of the property.
Is that what you think, Bob?
It's the only place you got out there, but you gotta, I was thinking today, you gotta find out what's there.
Underneath the ground, you mean?
I was talking to Tim today, and I almost think the septic goes that way,
Septic for this building?
for, yeah,
Oh,
right there where the guys park, right there in that corner, is that set of blocks, that's where the tank is, and I think it goes right out that way. I'm not sure, but somebody's gonna study the ground, or tell dig safe, or,
We gotta do a site plan.
Well, this place was built in 2013, so
huh?
I would certainly hope there's a print on file here.
Yeah, there's gotta be something somewhere. I'm just going by what people are talking about, I don't know for fact all this, that's all long day before me.
This part was built, the other part of the building.
The other
was
part was
here.
built to like 2000.
Right. We had an engineer help us with the addition. Peter Cedrone did the,
From Fulton.
yeah,
and what about the septic? How old is that? Do you know? How long was that been here?
before my time.
I don't know, I wasn't involved in it, I wasn't.
Somehow you just gotta find out what's under that ground and what you can do there.
In fact, I wasn't really involved with the first building,
If
okay?
you-
Okay.
Do we? need
So
to
why
go-
don't we wait until we get that, I just sent a text to
Yeah.
Ron, so I
I
didn't
don't even know where
forget.
to start for that.
We'll get Ron Morrison working on it
Can
tomorrow.
we
Yeah.
decide on the size of the building
Yeah.
or no?
Well, let's
I
see
know,
what Ron
I've been here
says.
since 2010, and a couple years after I was here, the septic plugged in straight up there, right where the guys park, right where them blocks are circled around to protect our tank.
Mm-hmm.
And Russell Sturts had Gracie come up and dig it up, and then Klebs from Plascot coming. But, so I know it goes from the building that direction, where it goes from there, I think, it's towards that big yard that they mow there. I was just thinking about it today. It might be right where you wanna put the building, I don't know that. That's.
Do you know what size building you want?
It's not what I want,
It's,
it's what you guys need.
it's
I
not-
need dry storage, and you guys are looking at it for a dual purpose thing, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
It's
we
not
need
just
to-
gonna be a highway.
Well-
Sure, I know.
Right,
I
right.
guess the
just trying to
thing
find out
is,
what he-
Jen, could you find out, someplace in our records, okay, should be the drawings? That'd be the first step, okay, we'll take a peek at
Call
them
the
and see if we can
historian.
figure out who's got John.
I just put a text out to Ron, I'll have Ron start working on it.
If it don't go there, the only other place you got is
Out
where the old
front,
one is.
yeah, to remove that old one.
And if that was cleared out of there without disturbing the ground, and put a couple 3 foot of fill in there and build on top of that.
Talk to Ron, see
But
what.
like Fred and me both know that we've been here long enough to know that that ground can't be disturbed.
That's a good spot up there, cause there's parking, there's room more to park.
Take the building down to the cement, leave the cement, put a couple foot of fill in there.
We also have to find out, okay, how the gas gets here.
Yep,
okay?
somebody's gotta call Dixie, electrical
For sure.
gas.
Yeah, yeah, we should have them come in and use a witch stick and find out
Yep,
what's
mark
where.
everything.
Well, Grid's got a layout of where the gas
Yeah.
comes in.
So I
Okay,
would-
are we good on that for,
Wait a minute.
cause we got a lot, I
Yeah, I know.
wanna do, we're not, there's.
Just one more thing.
Okay,
I wanna say by the next board meeting, the spot needs to be picked.
Yep.
So that by the next board meeting, we set the size. Just want that in the minutes. By the next board meeting, who's ever
I'll be working
responsible
on this tomorrow.
to know where the septic tank is, find out where it is, so we know where we're putting it.
We need to know if we need to have certified engineer drawings for this too.
Correct.
We
But
probably
I
have to
don't
go
think
to
we have
the
to get there.
planning board before we do it, right? Just like anybody else, we've gotta get permits to build it.
That's a good
No, we
question.
get a building permit unless there's a reason for special
Now, we're a
use.
government entity, we can bypass that. They do
I
it
don't
all the
wanna get
time.
into all that right now, I'm not
We're
gonna
not
get
there
into it
yet.
right now.
Okay,
We're not gonna get into it right now, how's that?
We're not
So-
there yet, so.
If we're done talking about the building, is there any other ARPA business
No.
that you wanna talk about? Okay,
nope, building is next.
okay.
We're down the list.
At this time, I want a motion to enter into executive session to talk about two different personnel matters. Somebody wants to make that, or I can? I'll make that motion that we enter into executive session, to talk about two different, do you have something you wanna read, Mary?
I'm looking. I would say, according to the open government law, we would say that we wanna go into executive session to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, right from the open meetings government. That's my motion.
That's from the open meetings where, who?
Government law, for the reasons you can go into executive
Yeah.
session.
I know, Scribner's, if you look at Scribner's minutes, okay, they have that at the bottom of every, listed minute.
You
Yeah,
can.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
there's a
exactly.
job,
How do you
so
just-
you can write that.
You can, I brought everybody a copy.
No, I have my-
You keep
Here
moving
we
on.
go. Here you go,
Zero.
here you go.
So we are, can you read that again? Which one are you doing?
F. For personnel, that's a specific reason. Says a particular person, but it's the same as a personnel matter, but this is exactly from the open government meeting law, so that we're not, that we're
The
abiding
New York
by-
State?
Yes, so, yeah, this is New York State's open meeting government
Mary's,
law.
Mary made the motion.
It's a more complicated way, but it's the exact way that open government law states it, so that we're in alignment
On
with
two
certain
different
people at our
matters.
meetings.
On two different matters.
Yes, two different personal matters, but it's F. It's the conduct of executive sessions.
I'll, second your motion.
Hold on one second.
Could be. Well, Steve, yeah,
So number 6 here in our town law manual is
Yeah.
the one that, Leslie always had me refer to
Okay.
before, which is the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or relating to appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or removal. So, you wouldn't read that entire thing, that's things that cover it.
yeah, that's the
So
same
what it-
thing,
what it-
it's what I just read, it's
Yeah.
exactly the same.
It's not all of it.
Yeah, right, but it's
So
the same
what-
thing.
What we're gonna do is, we're gonna go in to discuss the employment history of a particular person.
Right.
That happens to, yeah, that's that. Two,
Are you
Two.
making that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll
Two of
second
them.
it.
Okay, so
Yeah, you don't read,
Dan and Mary.
the whole thing. Is that yours?
Okay, so it's not different.
Okay, Crucio,
Aye.
Crosser, Wilbur,
Aye.
Brian.
Alright. Okay. We'll shut that door up.
Going to Quincy, Quincy is the sheriff, and then we'll go look after that. Oh, Quincy's in Melissa's setting.
Nice.
I make a motion that we come out of executive session.
I'll second it.
Crucio,
Aye.
Crosser, Wilbur,
Aye.
Brian.
Aye. No decisions were made in executive session.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Crucio,
Aye.
Crosser, Wilbur,
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
Do you know why I struggled the first time you were doing roll call when I couldn't remember whether to say aye or yes?
Remember your
Because at
name?
Palermo, they say yes.
Oh.